If you're working on a large-scale Vue app, you may have encountered situations where you need the same data at two completely different places in your application. This is the point at which a centralized state management tool like Vuex often makes a lot of sense. Knowing how Vuex works is important, but knowing when and how to store data in Vuex is equally just as important. Today, we'll be discussing when to store state in Vuex, and then look at using Vuex modules for separation of concern in large Vuex stores. We'll be creating a simple customer list app, which allows users to enter client information and then view this information in a list. This video already assumes you have a basic understanding of how Vuex Store works with state, mutation, and getters. You can look at my previous videos where I go over this topic in more detail. If you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe and check out some of my other Vue.js videos. You can grab the link to the full source code in the description below. Let's start by looking at the reason for storing state in Vuex. The number one use case for storing data in a centralized store like Vuex is because the data must be accessible in multiple places of your application. Another reason for using Vuex is for data fetching logic. API calls can be expensive operations, but if we use Vuex Store, the data can be fetched once and used everywhere. I also just want to briefly touch on some alternatives to using Vuex before we dive into determining when to store state in Vuex. The first and most obvious is to simply pass props down to child components. Oftentimes, the simplest solution is also the best solution. The real concern with this approach is to be aware of prop drilling, which can clutter your codebase when you start passing a large number of props to child components. Another lesser known feature of Vue.js is provide and inject. It can be used in situations where you need to pass data from a parent component to one or multiple child components, which may not be direct descendants of the parent. I've created a tutorial going over this topic using the new Vue Composition API, and you should check it out if you are interested in learning more. If you decide to use Vuex for managing the state of your application, every time you add a new component, you have to make a judgment about whether to store some, any, or all of its state in the Vuex store. To make the choice easier, a fellow Vue developer has created a flowchart to help out. In summary, if you need to access state and multiple child components and they are not direct descendants, using Vuex should be considered. But keep in mind that there is no one-size-fits-all when it comes to software development. Now let's take a look at creating our customer list application and using these concepts of where to place state. We'll also be using modules and actions in our Vuex store for better reusability. Let's get started creating our project using the Vue CLI tool. Make sure you select manual features and enable Vuex when creating your app. We'll start by opening the store that was generated. Before we start implementing anything, I'm going to enable the logger, which is exported by default in Vuex 4. This will log all operations we make to the Vuex store to the console, making debugging easier. Now let's create our dating fetching logic. We should place this logic in the Vuex store so that we don't have to make API calls in child components each time we want to access the data. To create this store, we won't actually be adding any state to the root Vuex store. Instead, we'll create a child store called a module. Each module can contain its own state, mutations, actions, getters, and even nested modules. This way, as the application grows, we can separate stores into sections so our root store does not become bloated. If we wanted to add authentication, we could simply create a new module containing the state of the new user. By default, when creating modules, they will be registered under the global namespace. For our module, we'll be using a namespace so our store is self-contained. To do this, we can enable the namespace option, which means that all of its getters, actions, and mutations will automatically be named based on the path the module is registered at. You will see this in action when we access our customer Vuex store. For the state of our customer's module, we'll simply have an array that contains all of the customer's names and emails. We'll also add a loading toggle that will be true when fetching the data from an API. To populate the state, we'll need 3 mutations. The first will allow us to append new customers to the array. The next one is used to set the entire customer's array, and the last one is for simply updating the loading status. Next, we'll create a simple action which would ideally fetch data from some endpoint. An action is generally used for calling async functions, and then they can call multiple mutations to set the state in the Vuex store. For simplicity, we'll be fetching this data from a JSON file, which I've already pre-filled with some random client names. With the data returned from the API, we can set this to our customers list. Before and after our API call, we'll also want to set the loading status. I've also created this simple function which will cause a 1-second delay so we can visually inspect that there is a loading state in the UI. Let's get started creating some components. For styling, I've copied and pasted the Bootstrap CSS so we can use these classes to make our application look nice. For our first component, we'll create the form asking for a user's name and email address. We will store the state of the input locally and then insert them into our Vuex store only when the user clicks the submit button. Since the state only concerns the elements in this component, there is no need to store the inputs in the Vuex store. I'll also add a quick computed property that will determine whether the button should be disabled or not so that a user can't submit empty information. Next, we will create our customers list viewer. It will grab the user from the store and display their name and email address. We'll also add a loading status to indicate to the user when we are fetching data from the backend. Now, in our main app, all we have to do is import these components and call our action to fetch the customer's data when our app loads. You'll notice throughout the code when we access the Vuex store, we are using the customer's prefix. This is because we set the namespace to true in the Vuex module. Had we not done this, we wouldn't need to add this prefix. And we are done. Now, you may be asking, do we really need Vuex for such a simple app? And you're completely correct. We really don't. If this application was only for storing a list of customers, we can simply create this store in the root of our element and access it either by passing it down as props or using the provide and inject functions. But if we plan to grow this application to handle more users, then using the Vuex store now will help us in the long run as our application grows. I hope in this tutorial you learned about when and how to use Vuex. Tweet at me on Twitter if you have any ideas for future videos you'd like to see. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe and check out some of my other videos. Hope to see you in the next one.